Students, good morning. Students who are in the online, am I audible? Okay. So now let us move to the further. So in the previous session, what was completed? Keywords for handling the exception. Syntax is completed or not? Syntax is completed. Handling the exceptions in Python. I wrote the syntax. And we already learned some we prepared some example also. We prepared some example also here. div example2.py. This is a code we have written it. How this try block, how this except block, how else block, how finally block. Already we learned in the class, correct? Fine. So, did you understand this entire blocks? Fine. Move this side. Road Japala. Necessary to tell daily. No. You need to sit in such a way that where sir can see everybody. Don't sit here and there. Okay? Fine. So now I will go to the another concept here. We are going to discuss try block points. What do you know about try block? Tell me, what do you know about try block here? About try block, what do you know? I just want to know about it. About try block, last class we know some points. What are the points? So first try block is used for what purpose I said. It is what are all the block of statements generates exception. Those statements will be written under try block. Hence try block is known as exception monitoring block. UMA, not just a monitoring block. Exception monitoring block. Which block it is? Exception monitoring block. Right. So done. So what are all the statements generates exception? Those statements will be written under try block. That is the first point. Second point also I will write it. Second point also we will write it. What is the second point? How this try block will execute. Now, generally exceptions will occur in try block only because we are writing exception generated statements. Any exception occur in the try block, PVM will come out of the try block, look for the except block, appropriate except block. So that appropriate except block will execute. After executing appropriate except block, PVM will not go back to the try block once again to execute the further statements. I mean, try block having some statements here, some 20 statements are available. 1 to 20 statements are available. So 10th statement is here, except here, some number of except statements are there. So line number 10, exception is coming. Simply coming out of the try block and except block is executed. After executing the except block, it won't go back to what? 11th line of try block. It will move further only. So if you take it, ATM transaction, inside the try block, you are writing PIN verification. For example, you are written the money withdrawal facility also you have written. Such logic you have written here. When line number 10 PIN is wrong, it won't go to the 11th line, right or not? Because it will execute invalid PIN, try again. Means process will terminate. It won't go back to the 11th line, student. It won't go back to the 11th line. So it will stop then and there itself. Are you able to follow? So come to the point back. Once except block is executing, PVM control never go back to the try block once again to execute the rest of the statements. That is the third point. What is the first point? Block of statements which are generating exceptions can be written inside of try block. Any exception occurs in try block, PVM comes out of try block and execute the appropriate except block. That is the second point. Third point, After executing appropriate except block, PVM will not go back to the try block to execute the rest of the statements. That is the another speciality of try block. Another fourth point is what? Every try block must be immediately followed by which block? Except block. Last class you have seen. Otherwise, you got which error? Come on. Syntax error, we got it. Syntax error, we got it. Okay. That syntax error you have seen by writing which block? Except block. That is one thing. Every try block, if at all I am writing, except block you are writing, no doubt in that. That means at least one except block you are writing. Writing many except block indicates your genius in the subject. If I know more exceptions inside the try block, it is our deepness of the subject. You can write many except block, but at least one except block is compulsory. Understood? Now, another thing is every try block must be immediately followed by what? Except block. Otherwise, we got which error? Syntax error. That is another concept you need to understand. So one try block can contain how many except block? At least one except block. And recommended to write more number of except block. One is related to syntax error. One is related to one or more number of except block. That is another point. I think you are following me. So I think you are understanding about the try block. Can I show you the points of try block? Right. These points are very, very important. Every interviewer will ask this type of questions. So go to the place. Now I'm giving here, what is this now? Explanation for the keywords of try block. Carefully try to read out. Start all of you. Try block. It is the block in which we write block of statements generating exceptions. In other words, what are all the statements are generating exceptions? Those statements must be written within try block, and hence try block is called exception monitoring block. Clear up? Right, good. Next, when an exception occurs in try block, then PVM comes out of try block and executes appropriate except block. After executing appropriate except block, PVM never goes to try block for executing rest of statements in try block. Every try block must be immediately followed by except block in the bracket, otherwise we get syntax error. Every try block must contain at least one except block. It is recommended to write multiple except block for generating multiple user-friendly error messages. If I write only one except block for zero division error, it handles which problems only? Zero division error problems only it will handle. Right? It won't handle what? Value error. To handle all types of exceptions, you need to write multiple exceptions or not. So multiple exceptions, if you write it, your program is called robust. Otherwise, it is going to be partially robust. So every exception you have to handle it. Are you following me? Right. Next, is this is clear? Is this is clear, students? All of you need to respond quickly. Fine. Online students. Now, next, I am going to talk about the except block. Except block, I am going to talk about it. What do you know about except block? Tell me. It is the block in which we write the block of statements generating user-friendly error messages. In other words, what are all the exceptions which are occurring in your try block? By default, they are giving which messages? Technical error messages are coming. To avoid the technical error messages, to give user-friendly error messages, compulsory to write which one? Except block. So when do you write except? What is the use of except block? Except block will suppress which messages? Technical error messages. Generates which message? That's why it is known as which block? Exception processing block. Except block కాదు. Exception processing block. లాస్ట్ క్లాస్ లో చెప్పాను కదా, గుర్తుండదా? గుర్తుంటుందా ఉండదా? Except block కాదు. Except block is also known as exception processing block. Understood? Next, another point. Second point I am writing. When the except block will execute, when there is an exception in try block, then the appropriate except block will execute. Understood? If no exception is occurring in try block, except blocks will not execute. If there is an exception occurring in try block, appropriate except block will execute. That is the second point. Third point. What is the third point? Even though I wrote a multiple except block, at any point of time, PVM will execute only one except block. Depends on type of exception occurring in which block? Try block. Even though I wrote a multiple except block, PVM will execute only one except block. Depends on type of exception occurring in try block. That is the third point. Fourth point. What is the placement of writing try block, except block? Sorry. What is the placement of writing except block? Except block to be written after try, before else. అంతే కదా, after try, before else. That is the way to write the except block. So minimum keywords to be written in the Python program to make my program robust is what? Try block plus except block. So try block is doing monitoring, except block is processing the exception. That is known as handling the exception, we can call. Handling exception is equal to try block plus except block. These two are called what? Handling the exception. Handling the exception is equal to try block plus except block. I think you are following me. Right at that. So look at the try except block. Chadavandi, read out all of you. It is the block in which we write block of statements, generates user-friendly error messages. In other words, except block suppresses technical error messages and generates user-friendly error messages, and hence except block is called exception processing block. Note, handling exception is equal to try block plus except block. So they will ask you an interview point of view, how to handle the exception, Ani. What is your answer? I will write a try block for monitoring exception. I will write except block for processing the exception. I will tell. Are you following me? Simple. Next, another one. Second, except block will execute when there is an exception occurs in try block. Except block will execute when there is an exception occurs in try block. Next, even we write a multiple except block, PVM executes appropriate except block. That is a single block only. Depends on type of exception occurs in try block. So next, the place of writing except block is that after a try block, before else block. Understood? That is about except block. How many points over? 9 points over. 5 points try, 4 points except. Can you tell 9 points now? Who said yes, sir? Who said? Hmm? ఎవరు బ్యాక్ సైడ్ ఎవరు తెలియదు? ఓకే, బ్యాక్ సైడ్ హూ సైడ్? నేను చెప్పలేవు, నువ్వు చెప్పలేవు. ఎందుకని? ఎందుకని అట్లా? ఎందుకు 9 పాయింట్స్ ఎందుకు చెప్పలేవు? అర్థమైందా? యూ అండర్స్టూడ్? కాంట్ యూ టెల్ నౌ వై? యూ అండర్స్టూడ్? కెన్ యూ టెల్ దమ్? కాంట్ రిమెంబర్. అండర్స్టూడ్? ఓకే, యూ కెనాట్ టెల్. మరి ఎట్లది? యూ అండర్స్టూడ్ బట్ యూ కెనాట్ టెల్. వాట్ ఈస్ దట్? హూ విల్ టెల్ ఇన్ ద క్లాస్? 9 పాయింట్స్ బాయ్స్. గర్ల్స్, యూ అండర్స్టూడ్? మీరు దేనికి సమాధానం చెప్పుకుంటే ఎట్లమ్మా? యూ అండర్స్టూడ్? కెన్ యూ టెల్ నౌ? ప్రతి ఒక్క దానికి ఇట్లా ఉంటే ఎట్లా చెప్పాలి కదా? కెన్ యూ టెల్ నౌ? గర్ల్స్, స్పీక్ అవుట్ బా, పలకండి. నిల్చోబెడతలా ఉండి మిమ్మల్ని అందరిని ఎప్పుడు? టెల్ మీ, యూ అండర్స్టూడ్? కెన్ యూ టెల్ నౌ? కెన్ యూ టెల్? కెన్ యూ టెల్ నౌ? మీరు గర్ల్స్ కాబట్టి ఎందుకు నన్ను మిమ్మల్ని నిల్చోబెడదామని చాలాసార్లు అనుకుంటాను నేను. 9 o'clock గర్ల్స్ ఐ వాంట్ టు మేక్ యూ టు స్టాండ్ అప్. బట్ ఐ డోంట్ నో ఇన్ మై సాఫ్ట్ బ్రెయిన్ that my message I want to remove, but it is not. It is immutable in my mind, not getting modified. One day I will remove that object from my brain. So, boys, చెప్తారా నిల్చుంటారా ఇప్పుడు? Will you tell all 9 points? Who will tell? ఎందుకే మీరు? Next, else block I am going to tell. Now I am going to tell else block. How many more points? 4 more points I am adding. It will become 13 points. Then that time I will ask. 13 points I will tell. Now start. Else block. Do you know else block is for what purpose? To generate the result. Slowly I am telling. Else block heading under that first point. It is the block in which I will write a block of statements which gives results. First point. What is the purpose I said? Second point I am saying. When it executes, else block will execute when there is no exception occurs in try block. Again I will tell. Else block will execute when there is no exception occurs in try block. Second point over. Third point. Writing else block may be optional, may not be optional. If I want, I can write it. Otherwise, I need not to write. If I don't write, where I will write the result statements? In try block only, I will write it. But recommended to write what block? I said example, no? You can stay in one room if you are a single. If you are having your parents and everybody, you want to construct multiple rooms. Your reading room, your exercise room, your home theater, and you want to be in hall, sit out, and then bed 1, bed 2, bed 3. Like that, you want to construct. Why that many rooms? So can't you say in one place? You can, but you want separation in all the moments. So I need to go for what? Separation and writing the code or not? So writing else block is optional. Third point. Fourth point. The placement of writing else block is after except before finally. If at all I am writing finally to be written after else. So placement of writing else block is after except block, before finally block. ఏముందందులో? I will repeat. Else block. It is a block in which I write the block of statements which gives results. Second point. Else block will execute when there is no exception in I block. Writing else block is optional. I may write, I may not write, but I always recommend you to write. Third one. Fourth one. The placement of writing else is after else, before finally. If at all finally present. How many points? 4 points. Already I said how many points? 9 points. 9 plus 4, 13 points. Boys, who will tell? అర్థమైందా? You understood? Can you tell? Only understood. నాకు అర్థమైంది చెప్పగలగాలి. After understanding, you need to express. Who will 13 points? అంటే ఎట్లా అంటే చెప్పలేవు. Understood? Then మళ్ళీ interviewer is asking, what you will say? No, sir, I understood. Give me a job. Will they give? You have to say what you are. When you come to my class first day, you pay the fees. Later I will tell you. You will say what? Sir, I have seen so many people in my college. I paid already 1 lakh fees in my college. After that, we have seen what happened. Sir, by knowing this, we paid 1 lakh rupees. Then what happened, sir, after that? Same thing, no? When companies are giving salaries for you, you need to prove by yourself or not. 13 points over. Boys, who will tell? Come on. Else block చెప్పలే. ట్రై బ్లాక్ ఎల్స్ బ్లాక్ ఒకటి చెప్పు. అంటే సింపుల్ టాస్క్ ఐఎమ్ గివింగ్. మొత్తం అంటే మర్చిపోతాం మధ్యలో. ఎల్స్ బ్లాక్ చెప్పు. Which block is one of the exception block అని చెప్పకూడదు. It is a block. It is used to display the results. మళ్ళీ చెప్. Good. Second point. Okay, good. Very good. Last point. Good. Mante. Yes. Good. Good student. Sit down. Like that. You don't compromise. Sir, else block is easy, sir. We will also tell. But try block, except block is there. Okay. If you don't tell tomorrow if you don't tell, boys especially, I'll call on the dash. This side dash. I'll give what punishment, you cannot move from here. You will be here only. That punishment I will give. Even I say, okay, take your books and go to home means you cannot move. Sir, pain, sir, painful excess, painful body pain, sir, you will say. That type of punishment I will give you. What you do, I don't know. You have to tell in the class. Compulsory. Girls, will you say? No? Now come to the point back. Online students, are you following me? Did you understand? Now I'm going to enter into where? Finally block. Finally block I'm going to enter. This finally block I'm going to give you. Carefully follow. Students, hi. Here I'm writing try block. Here I'm writing. Like there are so many number of lines of code I'm writing, students. So many number of lines of code. So many lines. So I wrote so on. I wrote almost 100 lines. I wrote it. Almost I wrote 100 lines. 1, 2, like that. I wrote 100 lines. 99, 100 lines I am writing. Students, do you know what I am doing in line number 1? And obviously what I wrote it, except block I am writing. So here I wrote some class name. Here I will write except here. I wrote some more kind of class. Except here, one more kind of class I am writing. Like that I am writing else here. Some more statements I am writing. Some more statements I am writing. And finally I am writing here. Finally I am writing here. Careful now. In line number 1, line number 2, 3, 4, etc. In line number 1, we are using files. What is our next topic? We are entering into next topic is files. What is the use of file? Have you heard about files in C language? C language, you know? You studied C language or not? Studied C language or not? Studied, no? No? Don't tell lies. Studied and forget or not? Studied and forget, no? Studied and forget? Yes. So everybody studied. You also girls studied, no? In C language, there is a files or not? There is a concept called files. What is the use of files? If you look at my files concept, very soon we are entering. The mind blowing. Nobody will tell that much content is there inside the files. What is the use of files? Generally, take government office. Files will be there or not? Government offices, files. Any politician is having any problem, any fraud is done, you will go to office and you will put some fire. Corruption gone, people's data gone. So files contains what? Data. Files contains data. Your college records are preparing or not? Records. What is that record is called? File. What is the file contains? Data. So when that is coming, files, I will tell you how many files are there, what is their importance, how files are useful in Python environment. I'm going to discuss. Files. There is one more thing also called database softwares. database softwares are available where you can store the data in the form of tables. That to RDBMS database softwares. RDBMS. What is RDBMS? Full form. Full form. మీకేం అనిపించట్లేదు చెప్పేటప్పుడు? సార్ చెప్పొద్దని చెప్పాడని చెప్పినా కదా. అంటే మనకు వచ్చింది అది ఒక్కటే కదా సార్, ఏదో ఒకటి చెప్పాలి కదా. మాకు వచ్చింది అది ఒకటే, ఏదో ఒకటి చెప్పాలి కదా. రోజు మీరు తిడతా ఉంటారు, మాకు వచ్చింది చెప్పనియండి సార్. బట్ ఐ ఇఫ్ ఐ పర్మిట్ యూ, యూ విల్ టెల్ ఫుల్ ఫార్మ్స్ ఓన్లీ. బట్ ఇట్ ఇస్ నాట్ కరెక్ట్ నా. సో డోంట్ టెల్ full forms. You have to tell what is RDBMS. Tell at least 10 minutes. Have you attended MySQL, all of you? Why? Not started batch. So, okay, it will be starting. So, database softwares, where we are going to store the data in the form of what? Tables. So, I'm going to tell you in the class, Python communication with Oracle database software. Python communicating with MySQL software. There we'll do one big case study. It's almost equal to the project only. So what is the use of files or database softwares? What is the use of files or database software? To store the data permanently, we go for what? Files or database softwares. In the software field, banking organizations you take it, colleges you take it, educational institutions you take it, insurance domains you take it, shopping malls you take it, marketing sectors you take it. Everybody will store the data in the form of files or databases. So in line number 1, I opened a file, or I got a database connection. Database connection I got it. Database connection I got it in the line number 1. In line number 1, I got a database connection or opened files. Okay. Like that, once you opened the files, this is known as what? Resources. We call it as a resource gathering, we can call. These are called resource gathering, we can call. We are getting the resources. Resources means the places where we have stored the data. So we gathered the resources in the try block. Once you opened the resource, it is your responsibility to close the file also. Why? Why? Once the file is opened, still if it is so active, there is a chance of interfering another program or intervening the other program. It may mismanipulate the data of the file. Once your file is opened, compulsory it is always recommended to the people to close the file or what? Release the DB connection, release the DB connection, release the database connection. From where? Release the database connection or close the file, release the DB connection. This is the last statement I wrote in the try block. This is known as what? Relinquish, LINQUIS, relinquish the resources. Relinquish the resources. We need to relinquish the resources. We need to relinquish the resources. We need to get the resources gathering and we need to relinquish the resources. Relinquish means what? Close or release or give up or clean up the resources. Understood? This is the first line and this is the last line in the try block. For example, in the 5th line, there is a statement is coming. What is the statement? Here I am writing 10 by what? 0. For example, what happens? PVM started executing up to line number 5. Line number 5, this 10 by 0 is taking place. Come out of which block? Try block and execute what? Appropriate except block. And later it will go to which block? That means how many line, up to what line it is executed? 5th line. It is coming out of it without executing which statement? 100 line. 100 line is for what? Close. You opened the file or not? First line you opened the file. 5th line in middle of it. Unfortunately, one exception is coming. And without closing the file, you are going to accept block. After accept block, is it coming to 6th statement and 100 statement to close the file? So definitely what happens that time? We are unable to close the file. Is it leading the problems of inconsistency of the data of the file or not? That time, how do you take care? So the best thing, if any resources are there in my program, when you are closing those resources, you may ask a question, sir, why are you writing at the end of it? Because these many lines of code, I'm using my files data. File should be active to do the data processing here. The last only I'm closing my file. Now, that file closing is written in the last, but in the middle of it, some type of statement is available. There we have what? Exception is available. That time it is not able to close. That's why when you are going to close any type of resources, you write that statement 100, not in try block. Write into some block which is executing compulsory. Where I can write this 100 statement in except block? No. In else block? No. Except block will be written in when there is an exception. Else block written in where? When there is a when there is no exception. But finally block will execute in all the times. So it is executed how many times? 5 lines it is executed. Simply executing a except block. Coming to which block? So better to write the statement in which place? Finally block. So in finally block, actually it is designed to do what? Relinquish the resources which are obtained in which block? Try block. Finally, I'm going to conclude my sentences. In try block, I got my statement here 100, a fifth line, exception occurred, come out of the try block, execute the appropriate except block, and execute which block now? Finally block. Now, if no exception is occurring, 10 by 10 only, what is happening? It will execute what? 1 to 199 statements are executing. Come out of which block? Finally block. Execute which one? After that, go to where? What is the safest place to write the closing the resources? So finally block. I hope you understood this point. Online students, is it clear? Quick. Is this point is clear? Everybody need to respond. Is these points are clear? Done. Now I am going to conclude my sentences. What is my conclusion? Everybody will ask in interview point of view, what is the use of finally block? What is the use of finally block? Finally block use is to relinquish the resources. Write the block of statements which are going to have to close the resources which are obtained in which block? In try block, you obtained the resources. In finally block, you are closing the resources. This is a recommendation. So writing finally block is called optional. I may write it, I may not write it. But when do you write it? I said the situation already. If I have the resources in my try block, compulsory I will write what block? Suppose if I don't have the resources, I never write which block? Finally block. That's why writing finally block is optional. If at all I write the finally block will execute compulsorily, irrespective of exception occurring or not occurring. That is the another point of it. What is the placement of writing finally block? Finally block to be written after which block? Suppose if we don't write else block, it is going to be followed after which block? Except block. I hope you are following me now. So these are the 4 points. First point, relinquishing the resources. Second point, finally block is optional to write. Third point, finally block will execute compulsorily, irrespective of exception occurring or not. One more is what? Finally block placement to be written after else block. If else block is not there, it is after what? Except block. I hope it is more clear. Right. So coming to the point of it, so Bunty is asking one question. So first time I am seeing the Bunty doubt. Maybe he's going to be a new student or already existing student. I don't know. See the Bunty doubt. So big doubt is asking. What the big doubt is? Sir, what if first line got an error? What if file does not exist or unable to connect to database? Still execute finally block. So here also causes an error. Where to close the resources? My dear student, when first line getting an error, when first line getting an error, first line getting an error means what that error is called? File does not exist. File does not exist means where is the question of closing the file? File does not exist. Where is the question of closing the file? Subject లేదు ఇంకా ఇంటర్వ్యూకి ఎందుకు వెళ్తాం? Subject only not there. Where is the question of going to interview? That is called what error? File not found error. If a database is having connection problem, there is one more type of exception called a database error. Because if I tell file not found error, if I tell database error, you don't know now where I am going to address that, where I am going to address, come to that. I make చూపిస్తాను మీకు ఎందుకంటే because I want to tell where I am going to cover files. చూడండి అక్కడ files. See that file open example1.py. File open example. First example only I am going to cover. What is that exception? In which case, first line only the problem. Which exception? That I am going to discuss. File not found error is a specific exception in the files. First line error means this is the one. So I'm not talking about file is there or not there. I'm not talking because that is the concept of files. I'm talking about closing the resources. Okay, Bunty. One more is database unable to connect. That example also I will show you. Because in my class everything is there. But depends on the situation I will explain. Python with Oracle. First program connection. First, where is that? Connection test. Connection test 1. See that here only you got an exception. Try block చూడండి ఇక్కడ రాశాను. First line only error. First line only exception. What is that exception name? Database error. మన దగ్గర అన్నీ ఉంటాయి. Everything is there. The only thing is carefully you need to follow. This is only the class where you can become successful. In everywhere else, these days when you look at, they don't know anything. And even the faculties when you see who are coming from newly to teaching, they are doing jokes with the students. Half of the class, completely fun. And some students, 10% or 15% of the students doing fun along with them. But after the course is over, when they look at back, nothing is there behind. Everything desert is there. Faculty is okay. But what about faculty is having what? No problem for him. Why? The student only getting problem now. That's why seriousness is required in the classes. Deep knowledge. Are you following, my dear student? Bunty, are you getting now? Is it understandable now? So, what is this doubt? When the first line error in the files, what exception? File not found error. When first line exception in the database error. That is related to first line problem. I'm not talking about first line problem here. I'm talking about the problem of what? First line successful, second line successful. I'm talking about the relinquishing that resources. It is called finally block. Okay now? So coming to the point of it, here I'm going to say finally block. All of you start reading. It is a block in which we write block of statements will relinquish. Relinquish synonyms meaning is what? Release, close, give up, clean up the resources. Resources means files or database software which are obtained in try block, and finally block is called resource relinquishing block. Finally block will execute compulsorily. Finally block is optional to write. The place of writing finally block is that after else block. If else block present. If else block is not present, finally block is after except block. Understood? So finally block 4 points, else block 4 points, except block 4 points, 12 points, 17 points over. Raise is going to come. There also 5 more points will come. 22 points. 22 points remembering is very difficult. Correct? Correct? But when I give you very severe punishment, next day it will work out. Only thing is, sir should be very strict. Correct or not? If rider is good, horse will run with four legs properly. If rider is little soft, it will run with 2 legs only. 3 legs. Very good rider. It will run 4 legs with 120 speed it will go. Like that, students should have a lot of pressure. If pressure is not there, you will get problem. Correct or not? So to shine like a sun, you need to work hard. So great scientist, great people said, ex-president of India, scientist, he said, to shine like a sun, you need to burn like a sun. You know that when somebody touches the sun, out. But everybody is getting vitamin D from the sun. Correct or not? Like that, read well and be perfect. So, students, is it clear? Is this is clear for all of you? Quick. Now I'm going to enter into the another point of it. How important this concept, we cannot imagine it. These are very, very important. Students, another point I want to go for it. So further, I would like to go for all the points are completed. Now I want to go for one more point I want to cover. Except block is there. Now, what are the various except blocks are available here? That I want to cover it. Look at this div example 2. What is this now? I will run my code. Go to the command prompt. Go to the command prompt once. Command prompt you go once and try to look into this carefully. E colon, say here, KVR, Python, something like 9 am. Exception handling here, py, div2.py, sorry. So go to this place, div2.py, div2.py. Here I am writing py, div example2.py. So I am saying 10 and 2. I got the answer. Perfect. No issue. Now I am telling about in my program, how many exceptions are there? In my program, what I am running, how many exceptions are there? 2 are there. Now I am entering 100 and then 0. What is an output? Don't enter 0 for denominator. That is a 0 division error. That means one exception is coming at a time. Don't enter 0 for denominator and finally block is coming. This is what the message is coming. But there is one more exception is there in my program or not? My intention next, what I am introducing is when this exception is coming, you are telling okay about the present problem, you are giving user friendly message. That is well and good. Nice. This is perfect. What I am telling is for the another time, end user should not commit mistake. In advance, I'm telling to the end user, don't try to enter ALNUMs and STRs and symbols. Along with this error message, I want to tell about another error message also. During the first mistake time only, I'm telling about the other mistakes also to them. So that end user will read that mistakes, he will minimize the mistakes committing or not. That is called handling all sorts of specific exceptions at a time. That is called multi-exception handling block. Spell out multi-exception handling block. Carefully look at very, very important. Very, very important points I'm going to cover. Paste it over here. Students, I will carry this. I'll carry this entire, I'll carry this entire thing. You try to put it over here. This is the one which is written 3.py, where I am writing 0 division error. Now I am writing value error also. Here I am writing 0 division error. Couple of exceptions I am writing here. Value error also I am writing. Value error also I am writing. Remove that. Now I am writing like this. Except of 0 division error, comma what? Value error. Now I am writing this messages here. How many exceptions are there here? 2 exceptions are available. 2 messages I wrote it. 2 exceptions at a time will not occur. How many exceptions will occur at a time? One only. Suppose either this will occur or this will occur. When any one of it is occurring, how many messages will be shown? 2 messages will be shown. So during the single mistake committing, they are getting about multiple mistakes information in advance it is coming. So that there is a chance of doing what? Reducing number of mistakes committing. Correct or not? If you do one mistake, other mistakes also showing to you. What you will do? You will minimize. So, okay, this is next mistake is coming. You will not do that mistakes in the next time. So that indicates what? minimizing the number of mistakes in the near future. That's why this type of except block is known as what? Multi-exception handling block we can call. This is known as multi-exception handling block we can call. Previous one is called what block? Single exception block. This is a standard exception block. This is known as which type of facility? Multi-exception handling block. So go to the place div3.py, see students, enter pen and 2, no problem, no exception, output is coming. You enter like this. What is happening now? You say the value called 30 and say the value called 0. What is happening? Here only exception is occurring. Jump out of which block? Try block. Looking for what block? It is matching here. It is not matching here. These messages are coming or not? Both the messages will be coming at a time. See this now. Don't enter 0 for denominator. Don't enter AL, NEMs, STRs and what? Symbols. So by seeing this message, he will understand, not only understanding the first mistake, next time he will not do this mistake. That means minimization of committing mistakes is reducing here. This is known as which type of thing? Multi-exception handling block. This is known as what? Single exception handling block. If you want one exception at a time to monitor, go for this syntax. If you want to go for handling multiple exceptions, you go for this. Okay now? Clear? Right, good. Now I will move to the further. Is it understandable? How many except blocks? Two. One is handling single exception, handling multiple exceptions at a time. Both of them, whichever you like it, you can follow. Okay now? Next up. These days, some of the people who are unnecessarily misguiding the students. Misguiding. See, look at that. How they are misguiding, అదే చెప్తారు, something like this. Some of the people who are entering into the fresh time in their training division, completely misguiding. Like what? A patient is going to the doctor is not giving exact treatment. He is giving only vitamin tablets and saying that okay, go, it will reduce. So here they are saying, they are how they are managing, this is called a dummy program I am writing. Dummy program, or I will give some number to this 3.py. Not recommended, I am saying. Directly I am saying not recommended. Not recommended. What they are doing, students, they are telling, see students, in the try block, there are a lot of exceptions are there in real time. Every exception, what I said, write one except block I said or not? Pin wrong. What you will write? Pin error. Called reverse order. Called reverse error. Next is called what? Insufficient fund error. For every mistake, some appropriate message is coming or not? Card kept in reverse order. What is the message is coming? Remove the card and insert properly. You entered pin wrong. Invalid pin, try again. Amount is entered wrong. What is happening? Insufficient fund. Like that, are you going to? One more thing. You already exceeded your transaction limit that day. You are trying to do some more transaction. Is it giving your number of transactions exceeds today or not? Like that you will get or not? These are all called which messages? Specific user friendly error messages. Specific user friendly error messages will come because of what? Specific exceptions only. Correct now? Don't enter 0 for denominator is for what? 0 division error. Don't enter alphanumeric symbols and STRs and all is coming because of what? Value error. Instead of that, they are saying, see, there are 10 exceptions are there. Except 0 error, except 10 error names writing is a difficult, very difficult. And students will say, yes sir, difficult. Because students will feel difficult to remember exceptions. And based on the students, faculty should not go like that. Successful things are always difficult only. So, writing these many exceptions is very difficult. That's why don't write these many except block. Write how many except block? One except block only you write it. Then students will do what? Shankar the MBBS students will do what? Yes sir, good technique they will say. What good technique? One except block irrespective of all the exceptions. Except they don't write anything over there. Simply they are writing what? There is no exception name is written. Simply except. This is known as which block you know? Default except block you can call. Default except block we can call. Default except block we can call. Here what they will write? What they will write? Even some of the internet websites also. Oops, something went wrong. Something went wrong. Something went wrong, they will say. Something went wrong, they will say. Is it a message you are getting or not? Sometimes you are getting like this. Right. What is this default except block? What are all the exceptions are occurring in which block? Try block. All of them are handled with what? Default except block. No exception is written here. Everything is matching over there. What the message is coming? Oops, something went wrong. And you will say, what students will do? They will say, okay, my sorry is very good. And some intelligent students will say, what? Are you intelligent? Are you intelligent or not? Intelligent or not? Are you blunt student? Intelligent student? ఏది ఇక్కడ ఉండాలి ఇక్కడ ఉండాలి ఇక్కడ ఇది వేరు ఇది వేరు బ్లంటా ఇంటెలిజెంటా ఈ మధ్యలో ఉండదు ఇది ఆవరేజ్ ఇది ఉండకూడదు ఇంకా అది ఆవరేజ్ మీన్స్ వాట్ స్టాండింగ్ ఆన్ ద వాల్ జంపింగ్ దిస్ సైడ్ ఆర్ జంపింగ్ దిస్ సైడ్ టెల్ మీ ఆర్ ఇంటెలిజెంటా బ్లంటా వాయిస్ ఇంటెలిజెంట్ ఆర్ బ్లంట్ ఇంటెలిజెంట్ ఆర్ బ్లంట్ ఇక్కడ నా దగ్గర ఆవరేజ్ ఉండదు ఇంకా ఇంటెలిజెంటా బ్లంటా గర్ల్స్ ఇంటెలిజెంట్ ఆర్ బ్లంట్ ఇంటెలిజెంట్ క్వశ్చన్ అడుగుతాడేమో ఆయన ఇఫ్ వి సే ఇంటెలిజెంట్ ఈ ఆస్క్ ఇంటెలిజెంట్ క్వశ్చన్ బ్లంట్ అంటే మళ్ళీ సార్ మే ఫీల్ ఐ అండర్స్టాండ్ వాట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ ఆన్ ఇన్ యువర్ బ్రెయిన్ ఐ విల్ అండర్స్టాండ్ గర్ల్స్ సో టెల్ మీ బాయ్స్ బ్లంటా ఇంటెలిజెంటా ఇంటెలిజెంట్ when you are sitting in my class you are supposed to be an intelligent. When you read, intelligence will not come by birth, intelligent will come by because of your practice. There is no doubt in that. There is no doubt in that. Harshit, bluntly intelligent. Malvi, Harshit, bluntly intelligent, అది ఉండదు అసలు అది. That is not there. Come on, intelligent blunt పలకండి. Say once I'm an intelligent, you say like that. Say once. నాకు వినిపించాలి. I should hear it. Who are you? Huh? Girls, who are you? Okay, let it be. So use this now. From KVR sir, favorite student. My dear student, you are telling my answer to me only. So okay, I'm really appreciating you. I'm really appreciating. You should be an intelligent. Okay, you are joining on my name, no problem. But don't join on my name, my dear student. Please join on your name. Right, Karthik, your students always intelligent. But I feel like that. Whether you know it or not. So I feel always, whether you know it or not, I feel always that my students are always intelligent, I feel. But whether you feel it or not, I don't know. But I feel like that. So how much subject you know, I don't know. So coming to the point of it. Okay, intelligent spelling mistake, don't worry. So anyhow, my dear student, don't join on my name. Because when you join on my name, you should be an intelligent completely. So the student who joined on your name is very intelligent. Okay, fine. That is also an intelligent. So Himanshi is also intelligent. Okay, students, anyhow, come out of that. So Satyam Rajput, you all make sure that whosoever is the person, you'll make him or intelligent after attending your sessions. Satyam Rajput, thank you. So anyhow, if I want to make you, because if you don't cooperate, what can I do? What can I do? Tell me, students. You tell me. So that's why try to do something. Okay, run this code. Run this code now. This type of code is not recommended. This type of code is not recommended. So need to go for what always? Need to go for always. Okay, 3 is already there. Huh? Okay, 4 you give it. 4 you give it. So try to print this 4.py you say. Then you try to run now. Try to run here. Py div 4.py 4.py. Enter the data 100 and say 0 and say 0. What will happen? 100 and 0, what will happen? It will come to default except block only. What is coming, you see? Mind blowing answer. Oops, something went wrong. Then intelligent student will get an idea. What you got an idea? What went wrong? Correct or not? What went wrong? What went wrong? You see, here you run your previous program. What you are entering? 100. And what you are entering? 0. What went wrong? Don't enter 0 for, don't enter this type of thing. This is what went wrong you are saying. But here what they are saying. So run this code once again. Run this code 4.py. Enter that 100 and then what? KVR you enter. Again what is coming? Oops, something went wrong. So if an interviewer is seeing your program, interviewer will say what? You said here also you said first time what you said? Oops, something went wrong. Second time also you are saying what? Interviewer will ask what? Oops, what went wrong? What you will say? Oops, something went wrong. What interviewer will say? Oops, what went wrong? Finally, interviewer will say, oops, you are out of interview. This is called very wrong programming. Did you understand? This is not recommended. This is not a recommended approach. Only writing default block is not recommended. Only writing default block is not recommended. Is not recommended. Now, students, how I will explain this concept? Now you look at. Is it understandable now? Did you understand what went wrong here? Without telling the specific problem, you are saying that oops, something went wrong. It is one of the common message for every problem. This is not recommended. So, sir, what you will say about this? Even I also will tell this. Sir, how you will tell? Now I'm going to tell. Please follow me carefully. Number 5 dot py recommended to write. Recommended to write. Recommended to write. Sir, how? What recommended to write? Now I'm going to give you the clarity. Here, I don't write this. What I will write, sir? What I will write, sir? I will write like this. I wrote like this. I wrote like this. This is my style of writing the code, for example. What I said now, save this code. Now I am saying that. Listen very carefully. I'm giving one illustration here. Carefully try to follow. This is the program. Here I am writing some code. This is the program. This is the program written by KVR in I'm going to write it. I'm going to write it. 14/04/11/2024. This is the program written by KVR in 04/11/2024. Understanding me? This is a code written by KVR in these things. After 5 years or after 4 years, definitely this code will come for this code will come for maintenance or modification. Something you will do the code. This project will come for some with some new things they want to add it. That's called maintenance projects. After 4 years, this code will come for modification. At point of time, that is in 2028, Actually 2024.